Alright, what's going on, Turbo Nation? Welcome back to another Black Ops 3 best class setup video. Today I'm gonna be sharing my best class setup for the Razorback. Oh my gosh, I'm getting notifications here. Anyways, guys, Turbo Man, you are awesome, man, and make awesome videos. Thanks, Jarno Kaspergen, man. Thanks for leaving that comment. You are now included in the video. Anyways, guys, this is my best nuclear class setup video. This is a really great class setup. I think the Razorback is definitely one of the top SMGs part of that list. You can argue there are so many best SMGs in this game, which is a good thing, but if I were to narrow it down, I would definitely say the Razorback is up there, because whenever I feel like I'm getting wrecked by sweaties, when I switch to this Razorback class, I do automatically well and I do better. So yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the class setup. I'm using Suppressor. Now I know a lot of you saying, why do you use Suppressor? Doesn't it reduce damage and range? Well, you know what? I think they did a buff on the Suppressor or something like that, because it does not affect damage anymore. I feel like I'm actually killing my enemies without having to worry about, you know, drilling bullets into them. And it actually does the job well done. And I'm a huge fan of the Suppressor. If you've been following me for previous Call of Duties, I've always preached being stealthy. That's like my thing. I'm a stealthy player. I like to flank a lot. You know, I like to stay under the radar. And that's why I use Suppressor. And you know, when you're going for a nuclear, you know, and you're playing against people who actually know what they're doing, then you know they're gonna find you unless you don't have a suppressor on. So it's better safe than sorry, and it's really great when you're flanking the enemy team, because then you'll be able to destroy a lot of enemies at one time without them worrying about where you are. I mean, sure, yeah, you can still hear the suppressor going off, but most people, they pay attention to what they see on the minimap. So if they see a red dot on their minimap, then they're gonna know that you're in the area. But since we have suppressor, then we're gonna be okay. We're not gonna have to worry about anything. All right, so the next attachment that we're gonna be putting on is stock. Now, stock is really great. It adds a lot more mobility when you're aiming down sights and you're trying to strafe left and right, or you're going into a room. You know, it's very important, in my opinion, when going for nuclears, like just so that you're ready for the opponent. And I'll get into that in a little bit, you know, why it makes sense later on when I talk about the perks. But yeah, I'm a guy who likes to aim down sights when I'm, you know, turning around corners or I'm going into rooms, because nothing's better than being prepared for a gunfight. You know what I mean? Who's gonna win the gunfight? The guys who's already prepared and waiting, that's ADSing, aiming down sights for people who don't know, or the person who has his gun down. You know, you tell me. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna win like almost 90% of the time. Maybe 10% I'm gonna lose because of the connection or some stupid things like that. But yeah, that's why I use stock. And the last attachment that I use is Rapidfire. Rapidfire makes the Razorback a beast, and I feel like I melt my enemies a lot faster too. You know, I don't know if it's like a placebo effect or anything, but I can tell you from experience that whenever I slap rapid fire on, there's a huge difference. By the way, I just want to say really quick that, you know, this whole entire class setup is based on my personal preference and play style. You know, you might not agree with some of the things that I use, but this is what I use and this is what works for me, and who knows, it might work for someone else. All right, so for perk number 1, I use Ghost. Now, to me, Ghost is a huge crutch perk for me. It's a crutch perk for me because I play solo, okay? When you play solo, you have to worry about UAVs being called on you all the time. And there's nothing worse than having teammates who don't take down the Scorestreaks for you. For example, the UAV is being spammed by the enemy team, but you have idiot teammates who don't think to take down the Scorestreaks. So, you know, that's why I like using Ghost, because it allows me to keep flanking around the map, keep running my strategies, and flank the enemies without being detected on their radar. You know, it allows my teammates to be a distraction for my enemies while I go around and flank. So, you know, because most of the time people don't use Ghost anyway, so that's why it benefits me and my playstyle. So that's why I use Ghost, and it helps, it works wonders. But if you're a guy or girl who plays in a full party or a party of 3 or 4, you know, just have someone, you know, run a rocket launcher or something like that to take down the UAVs. You don't have to use Ghost if you don't want to. Like I said, again, this is personal preference, but to me, if you want to get nuclears and stay on your streak, Ghost is very important. For perk 2 slot, this one's going to be a lot different than my normal class setup. So Of course, I'm running Hardwired. I think Hardwired is definitely a great perk to run. I would say it's definitely one of the crutch perks in the game to run. And because it does so many different things, it protects you from so many different things. You know, just read the description of the perk. And now this one is the one that people are going to be asking me, why aren't you using fast hands? Okay, well, I'm using Scavenger because, you know, whenever I'm using a specific weapon that I like to stay using that same weapon. I don't like to pick up a different random weapon from the floor and then it ends up being like a sniper or something like that. And then I won't be able to get my nuke because I'm not a good sniper. You know what I mean? So it's very important for me to stay using the same weapon that I'm, you know, used to and stuff like that. You know, maybe if you're lucky, you'll pick up a KN-44 or another weapon that's really good in the game. But for me personally, I like running Scavenger. It's important to me. And the reason why I'm not using fast hands is that I've learned to play without fast hands. I've just learned to adjust my playstyle a little bit. So if you're not familiar with it, fast hands is normally used for, you know, aiming in faster, coming off of a sprint, right? And to me, I thought that that would be a crutch perk because, you know, as a rusher, I want to have the upper hand on my enemy. But I've learned that if I just tweak one part of my playstyle and take out fast hands and just tweak a little bit, and by tweak I mean instead of just rushing balls to the wall, why don't I just play a little bit smarter and just pre-aim before I go into areas where I know that there's going to be enemies at. That's all you have to do. A simple tweak can save you a perk slot. And that's why I took out fast hands and I don't really use fast hands anymore. So that's why I don't use fast hands. That's just me, personal preference. You may or may not agree with me, but that's just me. All right. So perk 3, I use Amplify. I love sound whoring in this game. Sound whoring will save you a ton of deaths and get you more kills. If you know where the enemy footsteps are located in relation to your own positioning on the map, then you're obviously going to get more kills. It just makes a lot more sense, and it makes getting nukes a lot easier. So if you don't know how to sound whore or anything like that, I'll leave a link in the description to a video on, you know, showing you guys my best settings for sound whoring and, you know, how to sound whore in game. So I think you guys will definitely benefit off of that video. All right, so for Scorestreaks, it doesn't really matter, but I would personally prefer to put up a UAV, a Sentry gun, and the HATR. Or you can do UAV, Wraith, and the HATR. As long as you have the HATR in there, you're definitely going to get the nuke a lot easier, because, you know, what the HATR does is exposes the enemy on your minimap. So obviously, I mean, come on, like, shouldn't getting kills be easier if they're on the minimap? You know where they are, right? And for this specialist ability, I definitely would recommend either combat focus or the Scythe specialist ability. Now, combat focus is something I'd probably strongly recommend because you can earn your Scorestreaks faster, you know, because when you use combat focus and you cap an objective or something like that, you'll get a lot more points for it, and then obviously you're gonna get your Scorestreaks faster, and then obviously you're gonna get the HATR faster, and then obviously you're gonna get your nuke faster. So, you know, it all just kind of makes sense. But with the Scythe, you can also get a lot of kills with it if you're pretty good at preserving the ammunition. You know, you can go on like a bloodthirsty with just that, and it still counts towards your nuke streak. So yeah, that's pretty much the class setup, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. And yeah, happy nuke hunting and have fun with the Razorback, guys. Have a great day, and I'll be back. Yes, you know it.